Hey, what's up? I'm DallasWade, and welcome back to another worship service. Today we're going to be rating Jesuses. Now you might be thinking that there's just one Jesus, right? But as it turns out, there are a lot of Jesuses, and somebody needs to put them into a tier list, and that's what me and Travis are going to be doing today.
You know, everybody needs to just know their Jesus. Everybody's heard of that site, right? Know your meme. Everybody needs to know their Jesus, and there's a lot of them. You can Google it. There's quite a few of them. I'd say there's, I don't know, when we was looking, we sorted through at least 50.
Yeah, at least.
So, and that's just in the last few hundred years. So we're not even talking about back in the day when Jesus was there, and Josephus reported there being about 33 or 35 of them. So I'd say there's definitely been a few hundred Jesuses over the past 2 millennia.
And everybody says it's important to get to know Jesus, so we're gonna get to know about 20 different Jesuses here today. We're just scraping the surface here.
Just the popular ones, just the OG Jesuses.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so here's our tier list. As you can see, we've got the 20 different Jesuses here, and then we've got different brackets. We've got S tier, A tier, B, C, D, E, and F tier, and we're going to determine where each of these Jesuses belong. We're going to separate the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Indeed.
Starting with Jesus number 1, Siberian Jesus. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Siberian Jesus?
Yeah, so he was born in 1961. He's a Russian, and he's known as the Jesus of Siberia, or as we call him, Siberian Jesus. He worked as a policeman, a traffic policeman, and then he got fired in 1990. When he got fired, he turned and decided to the faith and made the Church of the Last Testament, and he claimed to be reborn as Vizierian, or Jesus Christ Returned as it translates. So he's still alive today. They currently have the largest religious reservation in the world.
So he hasn't hurt anybody, though.
No, not as far as I know. Not as far as Google knows.
Well, he's at least got that going for him. He looks like a pretty cool guy.
He's got the largest amount of land.
Yeah.
So
I like that
right.
he wears all white, he dresses the part of Jesus. I respect that. He looks like a very typical, stereotypical Jesus,
Yeah, he does. Definitely white Jesus material for everybody. He's not clean shaven, but he's like, his pictures are about like 2 to 3 days after shaved, it looks like.
I'm personally thinking, I don't really have anybody else to compare him to right now, but I'm kind of thinking B tier personally, because he hasn't done anything too bad. I mean, I don't know what all he's done with his followers, but it doesn't seem like there's any dirt on him right now. He's just claims to be Jesus. He looks pretty cool. He has a lot of land, a lot of followers. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, having the highest amount of land definitely gets you out of the low tiers. So, but actually done anything to deserve a top tier spot. So I'd say he's probably mid tier. Yeah, a little higher than mid tier. B tier is fair.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. And we can kind of hold these people temporary in case somebody else really shakes it up, we could just move them around accordingly. But I think B tier is pretty accurate unless anything else changes. That's probably about where I would keep him.
Yeah, safe spot. I agree.
Yeah. All right, so Jesus number 2, John Smith Jesus. Do you want to tell us a little bit about John Smith Jesus?
Oh, yeah. All right, so John Smith Jesus, John Hugh Smith Pigott is his name. Born in 1852, he died in 1927. Not to be confused with Disney's version of the John Smith from Pocahontas. Is definitely not the same guy. And so around 1890, Smith Pigott started leading the meetings of the Agape Montite community, and he recruited 50 young female followers to supplement its aging population. So
that's pretty convenient.
Yeah, and so he took a second wife. Of course, polygamy is there in the Old Testament, so he decided it was fine, I guess.
That's what Jesus is known for, having so many wives.
You're right, yeah. So that's exactly what it was. So then you have, she had 3 children, and he named them Glory, Power, and Hallelujah. So I personally really like that. That makes me pretty happy.
Yeah, that makes me pretty happy too. Glory, power, and hallelujah. Nice.
I feel like I should just like get my mom and just be like, why didn't you name me Power?
Yeah.
Why?
Wouldn't you hate to be Hallelujah though? Like Glory, you know, that's like a pretty typical name. You know, it passes anyway. Power, yeah, that's a great name. But then you're stuck with Hallelujah.
Oh no, yeah, you don't want that. I mean, spelling that in kindergarten would be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the catch, though, because there's a catch at the end of this. So later on, as time went on, after he passed, he still had a few followers to carry it on. But his last follower was his sister Ruth, died in 1956. So that means Glory, Power, and Hallelujah didn't even make it to the end. They either passed or they quit believing. Also, the funeral in 1956 of her was the only time outsiders were allowed into their chapel.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't seem like anything else is really notable other than it's spread as far as India.
So he had a lot of wives, and he had 3 kids named Glory, Power, and Hallelujah.
I think that's the most part.
Yeah, nothing too bad, you know, as long as the wives were all consensual, and, you know, it seems like they may have been. Seems like a total Chad, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe A tier, I guess.
I'm thinking A tier.
His following lasted longer than he did.
Yeah.
Definitely. A Chad, the Jesus Chad.
I would almost hedge on S tier just because of his children's names, but I'd probably wait about the S tier spot.
Yeah, no. He hasn't done anything massive, so I think it's probably fair. But definitely consideration for S tier.
Yeah.
Something changes. I mean, how often do you meet someone named Power or Glory or Hallelujah?
So, Jesus number 3, we have Rocket Jesus. So why is he called Rocket Jesus?
This is one of my personal favorite Jesuses. Rocket Jesus, as I like to call him. His name is Krishna Venta. He's born 1911 to 1958 is when he passed. He was born in San Francisco, founded the Wisdom, Knowledge, Faith, and Love Foundation of the World Cult in California in the late 1940s. In 1948, he stated that he was Jesus Christ, the new Messiah, and claimed to have led a convoy of rocket ships to Earth from the extinct planet Neophrates.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's totally awesome. I mean, he said he led a convoy of rocket ships to Earth. I don't even know if Neophrates is actually a planet. I've never even heard of that before.
Well, it's extinct now, right?
But he died in 1958 after being suicide bombed by 2 of his disgruntled former followers. They accused him of mishandling cult funds and having been intimate with their wives. So I think we have another Chad Jesus here.
Yeah, sounds like it. So he got some action from some of his followers' wives.
Yes.
And they bombed him for it. They suicide bombed him for it.
Yeah. So they took themselves out along with him. They wanted to make sure they got him.
It sounds like they were just major simps and he was a Chad. It's a pretty open and shut case for me.
I mean, yeah, it is. I feel like he's a solid. He might even be our first S tier. Because, I mean, he claimed to have read a convoy of rocket ships, hence the name Rocket Jesus. He claimed to come from an extinct planet Neophrates, which I've never heard of before. So I'm not sure about that either. It sucks though, because I feel like if they would have just waited on bombing him, then I mean maybe like when did we go to the moon? And the
oh, I should know that. 69. Nice.
69. Very nice. Could have given him a rocket ship, and he could have taken us to Neophrates, I suppose, or he probably would have failed like the rest of them so far, and we'd have just rocket Jesus in our way out into outer space to nowhere.
I don't know. He might have been the real deal though.
He might have been. I see him as a definitely a S candidate possibility. He's at A. But I think he maybe low S tier, but I think he deserves it.
Yeah, definitely Rocket Jesus is S tier. All right, so next we've got Kool-Aid Jesus. This is where the phrase "don't drink the Kool-Aid" comes from. What was this guy's name?
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones.
This is something most people have heard about. Jonestown. It's still pretty. It's not real fresh anymore, but it's still kind of. It's only 1978, so I mean that's not too far back. Most of our parents all remember it.
Yeah, wasn't it 909 followers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had quite a large following. So he's born 1931, died 1978. The founder of People's Temple, which started off as an offshoot mainstream of a Protestant sect of Christianity. And then it became a personality cult as time went on. He claimed to be the reincarnation of Jesus, but not only that, he also claimed to be the reincarnation of Akhenaten, the Buddha, Vladimir Lenin, and Father Divine.
Oh my God.
So that's like quite a lot to live up to. You know, he wasn't just claiming to be Jesus, he was claiming to be everybody. So he thought he was very important. Yeah, so he organized a mass murder suicide, is what they've got it listed as, mass murder suicide at Jonestown on November 18, 1978. And he shot himself after the murders were done, after he forced everybody to drink his nasty Kool-Aid.
I think that was his only redeeming quality, is that he shot himself.
Yeah, he killed himself. Unlike the other Jesuses, he didn't ask other people to kill him. He didn't get killed by people. He just straight up killed himself.
This guy's just a shitbag.
I agree.
I'm thinking there's only one place for him.
I think it's the bottom of the bottom tier.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly where he goes, to the F tier.
Yeah, I just couldn't put him anywhere else. I guess the only other thing I could say was, you know, at least he didn't go like bomb a bunch of other people. He convinced people to kill themselves, so you could put some of the blame on his followers, but in the end, still, this dude's should be held accountable.
No, yeah, for sure. And I mean, he's the first Jesus we've talked about so far that killed his following. Like, he's the first Jesus that we've talked about so far that didn't try to lead his followers to heaven, or at least he might have claimed that he was taking them to heaven, but really, in reality, he just killed them all, or convinced them to kill themselves. So I put him bottom tier. He might be deserving of E tier just from being able to convince that many people, but I'd leave him low tier.
Yeah, I think so. And even just like as far as Jesus qualities go, Jesus is supposed to be the savior of his followers according to the Christian lore. This dude, yeah, he was the one that killed his followers or convinced them to kill themselves. Not very Jesus-like. F tier for sure.
A very horrible Jesus at that.
So next we've got Comet Jesus. Why is this guy called Comet Jesus?
More space Jesuses. I love it. All right, so Marshall Applewhite, who we've decided to call Comet Jesus, he was born in 1931, died in 1997. His following was called Heaven's Gate. They suicide March 26, 1997 to rendezvous with what they thought was a spaceship hiding behind Comet Hale-Bopp. They thought I guess what they must have thought was that their souls wouldn't make it to the spaceship if they didn't do it then, because the spaceship was hiding behind the comet. If the comet had already come by, they would miss it.
Yeah, so what I remember from reading this is that the comet was coming to destroy Earth. The Hale-Bopp comet was coming to destroy Earth, and so the spaceships from these extraterrestrials, the spaceship was filled with new bodies for the followers, and so if the followers allowed their souls to leave their body as the spaceship was coming, they would be able to transcend into these new bodies that were on these spaceships that were coming with the comet. So I guess the plan was the comet comes, the spaceship swoops by, you kill yourself, your soul goes up into the new body in the spaceship, and that was the plan, so you wouldn't get smashed with Earth in these comets.
Just take off as the planet
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's imaginative. I'll give it that. I don't know who. I guess it's the aliens that have this soul sucking power.
I guess so.
They go back, but that's pretty cool to me. I think
it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
It just resulted in a lot of people killing themselves. Again, we have another Jesus convincing his followers to kill themselves.
And I think most religious people would probably disagree with a spaceship being able to suck up souls as it goes by, like a giant weird mosquito.
I don't know what that has to do with Jesus. You know, it's so weird that some of these people with their whole conspiracy theories, and then they somehow tie it in with Christianity.
No, I don't get it either. So, I mean, because it's like we saw a second ago, one of them believed he was a Jim Jones, thought he was a reincarnation of all those people at once. Like, reincarnation is a Buddhist idea.
Yeah.
Like, how does that...
Yeah, I guess he was covering all the bases. It didn't matter what religion you were from, you could enter in his cult. Like, oh yeah, I'm the reincarnate of Muhammad, sure, yeah.
That's what I see, fishing. Trying to as many as you want.
So anyway, Comet Jesus.
I say he's at least a C tier. I mean, it was inventive and imaginative. I'll give it that.
Um,
But it didn't work, and it definitely just ended up killing his whole following, so it didn't survive. So I'd say it failed on that as well.
maybe D tier. I mean, he killed a lot of people, and I feel like that's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was very creative, and it seems like he believed it too, right? He killed himself.
He killed himself, yeah, with them. So he didn't kill them and then kill himself. He died with them. I'd say that puts him above the F tier. Maybe, I don't know, I feel like E tier is a good spot for him. E or D.
E tier. Yeah, I'm thinking D or E. It's hard though, because I mean, he killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, you put him down there with F tier, and he does deserve F tier for killing a bunch of people and being wrong and failing at everything. But at the same time, he has a few more redeeming qualities, like just he didn't kill everybody and then himself. He went ahead and died with. It's either E or F.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I would almost give him D, but we'll just leave him at E. So next we've got Gassy Jesus.
Yeah.
He looks like a really pleasant guy.
He ate one too many of the beans.
You could also call him
Yeah.
Thick Jesus.
Thick Jesus. Right, yeah, look at him. It's almost like squirrel face Jesus.
It looks like Hagrid Jesus.
Right, though, yeah. He might belong with somebody we'll get to later on.
So tell us a little bit about Gassy Jesus.
All right, so Gassy Jesus is not actually a far joke as many as we've made so far, but he was born 1955. He died in 2018.
Very recent.
He founded a terrible Japanese religious group called Aum Shinrikyo in 1984, and it was indeed a terrorist religious group at that. So he declared himself Christ, and he also declared himself Japan's only fully enlightened master and Lamb of God. And this is important though, because there's a lot of them we're not going over in this list, but there have been several in Japan in the 80s and 90s of different people that claim to be Jesus and here for the second coming. But his mission, as he says, was to take upon himself the sins of the entire world, and he even made a few prophecies. So he outlined a doomsday prophecy that included a third world war, and he described a final conflict of a nuclear Armageddon. So apparently he thought that we were all just gonna like kill each other with nukes, I guess.
Possibly.
Everybody except the people that joined his cult. So they got pretty big, but nationally or internationally, nobody really knew of them until March 20th, 1995, where him and his followers carried out a gas attack on the Tokyo subway. So hence the name Gassy Jesus. He was put in jail in 1995, and he was sentenced to 18 years, and then he was sentenced to death, and he was executed on July 2018. So he didn't, like the other Jesus, most of the other Jesus so far have actually failed what they were trying to accomplish. I would almost say that he did not. I mean, he did hurt and kill a lot of people just like the previous couple, but he didn't fail though. He still gassed a whole bunch of people, at least succeeded what he was trying to do.
Yeah, and I don't know all the details about what was going on politically in Japan, so I don't know if he was fighting for something that was actually good or not, or I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know those details. But based on what we know, he doesn't seem as bad as the last two people.
There is an argument to be made, like you said, he could have been trying to fight for something in particular, but as far as we can tell, it just looks like a terrorist attack.
Seems to be that way.
Have enough information about it.
He was ballsy, at least. He was leading some terrorist organization, as bad as it may have been. He had a little bit of a warrior badass Jesus kind of.
Japanese Chad Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of this guy appeals to me, which I obviously don't know all the details about what he was doing and stuff, but just on the surface of what we know right now, seems like an interesting Jesus.
He wrote a book.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote a book, so he did that.
I have to check that out.
I mean, he's the first one to start a terrorist organization.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe not C tier, maybe D tier, somewhere in there though, somewhere in that area.
That's where I'm feeling, somewhere in there, C and D, because he was successful in his endeavor. He did a gas attack, and that's what he was trying to do. So, but he did get executed.
Just recently.
So yeah very recently.
Which that's also very Jesus style though, getting executed.
Yeah, not killing yourself and having someone else execute you. So.
Yeah, that seems very Jesus to me. I think him being executed, I think that would push him into C tier.
I agree.
Next, though, we have YouTube Jesus.
This guy's kind of interesting. Mr. David Shayler. He's arguably the most recent Jesus.
He's still active.
So he's still alive. He's running around doing British Jesus stuff. You could also call him British Jesus, I guess, because he was born in December 1965. He's a British M15 officer. So kind of like James Bond, I guess, except he
basically, yeah,
has a lot worse hair. His hair is definitely worse. And he doesn't have much of a chin game either. He's got a little bit of a double chin.
He looks like the crossbow character from Walking Dead.
Yeah. What was that, Daryl?
Yeah, Daryl. Yeah.
Yeah.
He really puts me in mind of him, looks-wise. But also, he has on YouTube. He has 291 subscribers, so he's got like less than half as many as me. And this is Jesus, you know.
That's not a very high bar there. Either you're doing something right, or he's doing something incredibly.
Yeah.
I can see after looking at him and seeing a little bit about him, I can see why they kicked him out, I guess, and why they decided he couldn't be James Bond. Definitely not film material, which I guess is why he's trying to cut it on YouTube instead, but not doing well.
He is failing on YouTube.
So he's got some interesting stuff going on, though. He joined M15 in October 1991 after responding to an oblique job advisement, and it was in the 12th May edition of The Observer titled "Godot Isn't Coming," a reference to a play called Waiting for Godot, in which Godot never arrives. I'm not even sure what Godot is.
I have no idea.
Heard of that before. So believing the job was media related, Shayler applied to it. He started working in it, and he was in the F branch, which dealt with counter subversion, including monitoring the left-wing groups and activists, where he worked vetting Labor Party politicians prior to the 1992 election. So it looks like he had some kind of job in like politics, is what it looks like. It said he later got transferred to the T branch, which handled Irish terrorism. I didn't even know that was a thing. It looks like he didn't stay long, though. In the same year, he got moved again to the G9 branch. So I guess he didn't like dealing with drunk Irish terrorists, as I would not either. That sounds like a horrible job. And he got moved to a branch that was responsible for Middle East terrorism, where he handled the Libyan desk. So it looks like he works for like the government as like a branch in the army that handles terrorist intelligence of them. Yeah, he started off monitoring like politicians and like groups and activists, and then moved on to monitoring terrorists instead. Kind of interesting. That's when he got his start, and then he immediately went from like watching terrorists to being like, I'm Jesus.
Yeah, I don't get how he transitioned. Like it seems so disconnected. And then YouTube, you know, it's just weird. Definitely seemed like he had a very interesting life up until he became Jesus, and now it's just like, yeah, he's not even making it on YouTube, you know.
Everything was kind of interesting, and then it was just like, yeah.
He's an odd one.
Yeah, and it says Shayler has said he is committed to destroying what he calls the Zionist empire. So that's the key that you need to watch out for, because that is probably the prelude to his terrorist act that has not yet happened.
Yeah, it could be. Which right now he's not doing a very good job of getting followers. 291 on YouTube. I don't think he's going to do much terrorism with that.
No, yeah. I think we need to like keep an eye on him. He gets a good following going, maybe, you know, about 400 or so. That's when he's going to get like power hungry and drunk with power. That's when he's going to go try to destroy the Zionist empire, whatever that is.
I'd wait till he's got about 1,000 subscribers, and then you start getting ads on his videos. That's when he's going to be a threat, definitely. So yeah, this guy, he's just early in his ministry, I think. A little bit to be determined with him, but right now he hasn't really accomplished anything. He's not done anything bad. He's just kind of a little bit boring at this point.
He does have potential, though. He is a potential threat.
So maybe like D tier? I don't think he deserves E or F. C or D is where I'm thinking.
He's not a horrible piece of crap, so he doesn't deserve E or F. But I don't think he deserves C, because he hasn't done anything. Because like the guy we got in C right now, you know, he made prophecies. He did horrible things. He asked a subway, but at least he did something. So
yeah.
This guy just hasn't really done anything yet to move anywhere.
Yeah.
Not an awful piece of shit. So I'd say that keeps him out of E and F so far, anyway.
Yep. So that's we've got a full lineup right now, S through F.
Yeah, I like that. Look at that.
All right. So next we have a very interesting Jesus. We've got Obama Slayer Jesus.
Yes.
So this guy believed that Obama was the Antichrist, and it was his mission to destroy him.
Yeah, I like his name. He's got my favorite name out of all of them so far.
Yeah.
Slayer, because that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to like really go on about. He thought that he was Jesus and that Obama was the Antichrist, and he challenged him to a duel. And apparently Obama didn't know about it because he wasn't there. So
Obama wasn't even at the White House, and this guy shows up with an AK-47 and just starts blasting at the White House. That's just
unload the White House, like wow. So like I don't know, I give him props for like being so like chat about it. He's just like,
yeah.
Obama, let's go.
But
like,
he just fell on his face though. Like I think that's the most embarrassing fail out of any of them so far. The dude shows up blasting, and the Antichrist is not even there.
No, yeah. So he failed horribly. The most embarrassing fail so far.
Definitely can't appreciate though the fact that he was Jesus. He knew who the Antichrist was, and he was determined to go take him down with an AK-47. His heart was in the right place.
You're right. He a little confused, but he got the spirit.
Oh my god. So where are you thinking to put this guy?
I'm thinking a solid B, because like how many of them have the balls to do that too? Just go and like just unload on the White House. Like that's.
Yeah, I mean, I can see B tier. Yeah,
I think B tier because that's a power move right there, and he didn't hurt anybody as far as we know.
Right.
And I mean, it says a little bit to his personality. He didn't try to go create a following and like go off and kill them all.
That's true. Yeah, he didn't have some following, and he didn't go shooting other people. He was just gonna take down the Antichrist.
I like that. I appreciate the style. He's a solid B tier.
So next we've got Potter Jesus. This is an old one too, Potter Jesus.
This is the oldest on the list, right?
I think so. Yeah, we don't even have a picture of this guy except this accurate recreation right here.
We have an accurate recreation. He called himself Potter Christ. Harry Potter would be proud, I guess. Maybe the Hagrid Jesus of earlier.
Maybe this is where J.K. Rowling got her ideas from.
Maybe. This guy, he died in 1872. He died in an attempt to ascend to heaven by jumping off a cliff. So, and he had followers. He had a group of people, and he didn't tell them to all jump off the cliff. He was just like, I'm going to heaven. See ya.
So the dude just totally believed his story. He believed that he was divine. Didn't ask anybody else to jump. He was just like, watch this. I'm going to ascend.
Yeah, watch me ascend. I'm down. I think he's a solid A tier for that.
Yeah, I like that. I respect that. That may have been the end of that cult. I wonder.
Yeah, it probably was.
But what if there's a following still, and they've got their own Bible, and it's got like the New Testament, and it's got Potter Christ who just jumps off a cliff at the end.
I hope there's an illustration for it. So I mean, I guess he's definitely deserving of A tier then.
Yeah, definitely A tier. Didn't hurt anybody. He believed what he was saying. He jumped off a cliff.
I would like to think that he did ascend.
I believe that Potter Christ ascended on that day. Next up, we've got UFC Jesus. This is a guy that's still around today. He's a UFC fighter, and does he claim to be Jesus?
That's what's interesting about him is he's known his nickname is Street Jesus.
So he's just called Street Jesus.
They show some videos talking about Jesus, so I think that might be where Street Jesus comes from. He's got some YouTube videos talking about how Jesus takes you into heaven and things like that.
So he's a Christian?
Yeah, that's what it looks. It looks like he's a Christian.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that might be why they call him Street Jesus, I would suppose. But there's probably more of a story behind that, but Wikipedia doesn't know it. And Google's not mentioning it.
I don't know. Nothing too interesting about him. Seems to be a badass Jesus. That's worth something.
He beats down the non-believers.
Yeah. Maybe B tier?
Yeah, I would say B tier. Because he hasn't done anything Jesus-y other than preach and beat up people.
I guess, yeah. Yeah. Preaching, and maybe he kicks down some tables or something. I don't know. Next, we've got Tortilla Jesus. I kind of resembles Jesus.
A little bit. It almost just resembles like a woman.
With a mustache. Or an open mouth. Yeah. But it kind of looks like a mustache.
I mean, you can see like the goatee line, I suppose. So it's not far-fetched, but it's not super close.
No, it's not a very impressive Jesus, I don't think.
But I do like the names. I like to call it Tortillan Jesus or Tortillas. So,
yeah, Tortillas, I like that. Personally, I would think like a D tier because I'm just not really impressed with it.
No, yeah, I'm not impressed either. But I don't know. There could be an argument to bump it up to C because it has convinced a lot of people. So it's at least better than a lot of the ones we have on there because it not only convinced a lot of Americans, but it did convince the Mexicans too, as it was found by Mexican ladies. So it's got two.
Okay, so it's reaching a pretty wide audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that C tier.
And I think the ability to not speak for itself also helps it out a little bit because it can't ruin its chances. It can't commit mass suicide or like kill a bunch of people. So there's that.
Yeah.
And it does have has a very latent potential that I can see for its second coming because it could come back as a burrito or like an enchilada or a taco. I look forward to enchilada and Jesus.
Okay, so yeah, an argument can be made for C tier. Next, we've got Pizza Jesus. I definitely see Jesus in that pizza.
Yeah, it's very visually accurate. It's like printed it on there.
It almost does look like that. Yeah, it looks a little bit more appetizing than the tortilla Jesus. It's not a great looking pizza, but it's a pizza.
Yeah, it's a better image too. So like, if you were gonna say like this is a sign, it's a better sign.
Definitely. This is persuading me a little stronger to believe in Jesus, so I think that's something.
It's probably not as strong as a deep dish Jesus, though. Looks like flatbread.
Yeah,
I think good art for C or maybe even B. I don't know. I like it a little bit better than Tortilla Jesus. It doesn't have the same versatility.
Yeah, I do like it more than Tortilla Jesus. The image is clearer. I don't know if it deserves B tier though.
No, you're right. I feel like it should probably stay in C.
Yeah, I just don't think it can break out of C.
You know, it's not reaching a whole lot of people, so it might even, as much as we like it better, it might even have to go to D tier because it doesn't have a big following. It doesn't have any versatility.
Yeah, for me though, I think the image is strong enough to keep it at C.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the image is much clearer.
It might be one of the clearest images. I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it actually, I think it was. It's pretty close, if not. It's definitely very clear.
Yeah, I'm staying at C tier. Next up, we have French Fry Jesus. Now, this is actually depicting his whole body.
Yeah, looks like he's got his arms kind of like out by his sides. Like he's kind of like shrugging in a way. He's like, I don't know, bro. I'm on a French fry.
I'm having a hard time seeing it as Jesus, though, honestly.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like some cloaked figure, but this looks more like Grim Reaper French fry than it does Jesus French fry.
You're right. It's kind of like just an apparition. It's kind of like reaching to try to say it's Jesus other than something else in particular.
Yeah, I'm not buying this one at all.
No, I'm not either. I like that it's French fried. I mean, because it survived the frying. It's got that going for it because like Jesus was crucified and he didn't survive. This was fried and it survived. I mean, it's got that going.
Yeah, I think this is the manifestation of a miracle. I just don't think this miracle is from Jesus, honestly. That's my position on it.
I agree.
Because of that, I think E tier.
I think you're right.
All right, next up we have Orange Jesus. Now, I originally thought Orange Jesus was Donald Trump.
I thought you were right, yeah.
But it's an actual orange.
Maybe Donald Trump is Orange Jesus reincarnated. It's at least like it's another apparition one. It's not clear that it's Jesus, but definitely looks like somebody with their arms just kind of like in the touchdown. It's not like an accurate like cross picture. It's more like touchdown.
Yeah, their arms are outstretched, but I'm really curious about what's going on down here.
Yeah, I agree.
It looks like maybe they're sitting on another figure's shoulders.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like this. I don't know.
Is this from the story where you've got Jesus and this dude walking down the beach, and the dude looks back and he's like, hey, Jesus, why are there only one set of footprints at this point? And then Jesus is like, well, that's where I carried you. Is this a depiction of Jesus not being the person with their arms outstretched, but being the person carrying the beach dude on his shoulders?
It's close. I would say it's probably better because it's hard to tell which one would be Jesus because it looks like there's two people. You can make an argument for that. You can make an argument for like it's God is the bottom and Jesus is like the top. I feel like from the mystery of this, of all the different potential things it could be, it's at least at Tortilla and Jesus level.
It's kind of like the Bible a little bit. It's up for interpretation.
Yeah, but I feel like the non-confirmation of what it actually is and not knowing what it is like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It puts it high, but then it also at the same time, I don't think it puts it higher than like Tortilla or Pizza Jesus because at the end of the day, you still don't really have anything like concrete.
And it could be a false prophet.
It could be. It could also be prophesizing the real orange Jesus, Donald Trump. Hashtag the real orange Jesus.
Maybe that was the message all along.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very unsure of where to put this.
Hey, I could see an argument for B tier, but I feel like it's around C or D. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. I'm just kind of all over the place on this one.
I think it'll have to sit at D tier though, just because of the uncertainty.
You're right, yeah, because it's got strong potential, but with the uncertainty, you have no idea, what it actually could be. So it's got that mystery that it could be everything, but it could be nothing.
Next, we've got Grilled Cheese Jesus, or Grilled Cheesus. This one's very faint.
Yeah, it's not really clear. It's not as clear as Pizza Jesus, because even when you're zoomed out, I can still clearly see Pizza Jesus pretty well.
Yeah, I know. He's just looking at you.
And this image is like magnified, like 50 times bigger, and all I can see is like hair.
Yeah, and maybe you got the little like halo or whatever you want to call it around his head. I could maybe see that a little bit, but still, it's a very weak image.
It's about a half image. Is kind of like, it's like a 50%, like on the scale of being like clear and not clear. It's like 50%. It's stronger than Tortilla and Jesus, but not by much.
Grilled Cheese Jesus, I'm thinking D.
I would like to put it in C, but I just don't think there's enough to put it in C. Even though, as much as I love Grilled Cheesus, he's got a good name. I would love it if it was higher up, but I just don't think we can and have an accurate tier.
Next, I think we have a really good Jesus. Lasagna Jesus.
Yeah, lasagnas.
Now, this one obviously had intent behind it, but I don't think that takes away too much.
No, yeah, because you can tell just by the way the sauce is. It's like got the hair and like the goatee. And even if that was accidental, they obviously, added those little things here and there to make it look more like a face, eyeballs and a nose and a mouth so you can see it clearer. Even if we gave the benefit of the doubt that that's all they did and that they didn't do the sauce by design to look like Jesus, I mean, it's something. It looks like on the bottom left, it looks like somebody like already scooped out some of it and was like, I need to taste this divine pasta.
Yeah, I see that. Is this spaghetti or is this lasagna?
I think it's spaghetti. I think it was spaghetti casserole, so it's kind of like a lasagna, I guess.
But yeah, I like it. I think it's a good Jesus.
It's one of my favorites.
He looks a little unhappy though. Like I wish they had given him a smiley face instead of a frowny face.
You're right. He does look pretty unhappy.
Yeah. I don't know. I do have some mixed feelings because I like that this was made with love, but at the same time it is a little less miraculous. Especially
with the consideration that it could have been just straight up deliberate, so it might not be as miraculous as like the tortilla or tortillas, even the grilled cheeses. I think that it sits a little bit higher because it's a little bit harder to fake one of those and it look like that. Or at least if you did fake the grilled cheeses, it would be a lot clearer. Like the pizza Jesus, you could see that it could have been like printed. This one just almost looks like a middle schooler's like lunch project. I know that we don't have lunch projects in America, but this is kind of what it looks like.
If it's made by design, fully created by a person, it's kind of disappointing because you could have done better. Like it looks good compared to some of the other Jesuses. Still not as good as Pizza Jesus, but the fact that it's not better than all of them and it was designed intentionally. Yeah, I think so. Really thinking about it. Yeah, it's. It
either goes in F or E is what I'm feeling like, because I'm not sure if it should go higher than French Fried Jesus, because like French Fried Jesus, we know, or at least we can assume that it wasn't designed. And honestly, I think it looks better.
Yeah, I have a hard time putting spaghetti, lasagna, pizza in F tier, but
I think it could go with E. Yeah.
Yeah, I think E. Yeah.
because French fry Jesus still isn't a very clear Jesus. It's still an apparition. I'd say it probably belong together in the same tier. They're still
One of them is miraculous but not Jesus, and the other one is Jesus but not miraculous.
right. Yeah, I agree.
So next we have Rick and Morty Jesus. So this is Jesus who appeared in one of the episodes from season 4 of Rick and Morty. And as you can tell, he looks divine. He looks
It's definitely prime Jesus. I mean, it's shining. He's gold. Look at those abs, though. Better abs than Street Jesus.
This dude is certainly the Son of God, if not God himself. I would bow down and worship this Jesus.
I'd be fine with that too. Yeah.
I think this Jesus goes pretty high.
He's top tier just from appearance alone. Did he have any? I don't remember. Did he have any power plays? Any power moves that he did in the episode?
I just remember he showed up when Rick and Morty gave their lives to him. He appeared out of heaven. He ripped his clothes, which you can see here. I remember everybody, like the entire evil Morty army, bowed down and worshipped him. And Bob and Larry from VeggieTales were there in the episode. And and they bowed down and worshipped him.
I mean, that's pretty strong, though. That's something worth considering, that you could make the VeggieTales. Yeah, I'd say definitely. He's pretty high tier.
I'm thinking A tier, not S tier, because he didn't really do anything too much. I mean, he was worshipped by a lot of people and vegetables. But yeah, I think A tier.
I think that's solid.
And next up, we have My Little Pony Jesus. Now this is just somebody's fan art. I don't think this was actually in an episode. I mean, I don't know that, but I think it's just some Christian bronies fan art.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Just from looks alone and thoughts from like what you just said makes me just want to shove it to F tier and leave it there and never bring it up again. Just from the word brony. That's how I'm feeling about it so far. I don't have enough information to put it anywhere else.
All right, then just say no more.
Brony Jesus, F tier, next Jesus.
Yep, next Jesus. All right, so we already have an improvement. This is Bird Poop Jesus.
Oh yes, definitely very high improvement.
So I'm guessing this is on somebody's windshield. It looks a little bit distorted, but it definitely looks like Jesus somehow.
It's very well shaded. It's not like a clear Jesus, but it's very well placed poop.
It kind of looks a little bit smeared.
I was gonna say, you can tell it kind of like ran down on the left side a little bit, but the right side kind of stayed there.
It's pretty good though, especially for a bird. I'm assuming. Yeah, a little smeared though, a little runny. Looks like it potentially was a masterpiece, but it just either didn't happen or this was a little too late to get the picture.
One of the two.
Yeah.
And if it was mine, then it wouldn't have mattered how late you were. It would have still been there, in my opinion.
I'm thinking C tier. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, C or D, somewhere in there, maybe B. There's not a whole lot to go on it, but it's not perfect, but it's good.
It's C tier, I think.
I think so.
So we've got one last Jesus. This is Fiverr Jesus. He's also on YouTube, just like Dave Shaver. This Jesus from Fiverr went to YouTube and is far more successful than David Shaver.
He has to at least be higher than David Shaver.
Oh, definitely. His name's legally Jesus Christ. Like his legal name on his driver's license is Jesus Christ. And he has 1.17 million subscribers on YouTube.
Whoa.
So he used to live stream pretty frequently, and I would get in the chat, and I've communicated with him a little bit, and he's a pretty cool guy. He actually told me personally that he loved me. So I have a little bit of bias here. I have to throw that out there. I have a little bit of bias, but he speaks 3 different languages, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, he speaks English, and I think he speaks Spanish and Arabic. He also plays the guitar, and he can sing. Yeah, he's been shouted out by PewDiePie and several other YouTubers.
That's right. Hey, PewDiePie noticed him, so I mean he's at least high tier just from Pewds himself noticing him. If the king of YouTube notices you, you're doing something right. I almost want to put him in S tier just from that picture. Like that picture is solid.
I would put him in S tier, but I am a little biased. I don't know if I can do this without putting my bias to the side.
I want to put him in S tier, but I'm not sure if he deserves it yet. I'm not sure what all he's done. I don't know enough about him to know if he's done a lot to deserve S tier, but that's where I want to put him because I feel like he's better than A tier. Now that I think about it, I think we should just put him in S tier because he's definitely better than the A tier contenders for sure.
I think so. And he's also spoken out about, I believe it was the Mormon church that he used to be affiliated with, and he's raised awareness about some of the problems in that organization. They've tried to shut him down. They've tried to take down his YouTube channel, take his kids away, but he's used his voice and his ministry to let people know how corrupt they are, and I think that's honorable. I think he deserves S tier.
I think so.
Yeah, so that's the final list of these 20 Jesuses, and I think it's really accurate. I'm pretty happy with it.
I am as well. I'm pretty happy with it, and I think it looks pretty good. You have just a couple in the high and just a couple in the low, but you have that kind of that like AT&T raising the bar towards the middle.
A lot more people fell just in the middle.
It's definitely a very well balanced list. I agree.
Anyway, thanks for joining me and helping me with this video. I'll plug your Instagram or whatever down below, and we'll do some more in the future.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.